Okay, right, this is just for the depreciation workings. So, right, we'll do the disposal first, okay? So, it's just always kind of easier to do the disposal first, right? So I'll do the... Okay, so just to clarify, right? So here in the question, it specifically states vehicles are data purchase, data sale, okay? So the vehicle which was held at the first of the first, okay? So at the first of the first vehicle, what it was up here was this, in this instance, was 60,000, okay? So that was the vehicle. It wasn't split, it was just one vehicle for 60,000 euros. Okay, so I got rid of it. So 60,000 euros, put that in brackets, okay? Now, what I want to do is, did I get an allowance? By God, I did. What was the allowance? 8,000 euros. Why? Because it specifically states it here, 8,000 euros. Okay, I want to add the allowance back on. Once I've that done, then what I want to do is literally just find my total accumulated depreciation on this asset. So I bought it on the 1st of the 1st, 2012, or 2008, sorry. Okay, so 08, 09, 10, and 11, okay? So basically, in 2008, I bought it and I had it for 12 months because I bought it on the 1st of the 1st. 2009, 12 months, 1st of the 1st. And 2010, 12 months. And in 2011, the date of the sale was the 1st of the 7th, okay? So January, February, March, April, May, June, that's 6 months, all right? So I only had it for 6 months, 2011. Total all that up, and we get 42 months. Is that all right? So in the total, we had it for 42 months. Now, the value of the asset was 60,000 euros. Multiply that by 20% because that's the rate of percent, and we get 12,000. Divide that by 12, multiply by the number of months, which is 42, and we get a total of 42,000 euros. Right, that's the total accumulated depreciation on that asset. Okay, so I want to add that depreciation back on here. And I get 10,000 euros, but it's in a bracket, which means it has to be a loss. Is that okay? So if it's a loss, it's classified as an expense, 10,000 euros. That's my only entry for that one. Now, once I have the disposal done, I can do my cost, right? So my cost. Okay, so I had an old van for 60,000 euros. And I bought a new van for 48,000. Why? Because it specifically tells me there that the vehicle that I bought cost 48,000 euros. What I don't want people making the mistake is when they do the depreciation, I do not want you depreciating this asset and the one that is up here, new vehicle 40,000 euros. This 40,000 euros, lads, just represents the 48,000 euros of an asset of the new van. So it's the 48,000 minus the allowance of 8,000 euros is 40,000 euros. That's how much we actually paid, right? So it cost 48,000 euros. We paid 40,000 euros. That's the only reason that 40,000 euros is up here, there. That's the only reason it's there, because that's how much we actually paid for it. Okay? So my cost, right? So the first, I had 60,000 euros. Okay, I bought a new one, 48,000 euros. But guess what? I sold my original asset. Okay? So I'm taking off 60,000 euros from it because I sold it. All right? So how much am I left with? Just the 48,000 euros. Is that all right? Okay? Just the 48,000 euros. Why? Because that's my fixed asset cost over here. Fixed asset, 48,000 euros. Why? Because that's the value of my asset on the 31st of the 12th. Okay? That's literally just it. I don't want people making that mistake of getting the depreciation of this amount and this amount. This is the same figure that's just in there. It's just this is how much we paid for it. This is how much it's worth. And if you look here, it says 20% of what? Cost. Right? So that's the value that I'm getting the depreciation off of. So what I want to do is I want to get my depreciation charge for this year. Okay? So that's my cost, that's my disposal. All right? So I'll do the depreciation charge. So depreciation charge this year. Now it's split, right? Why? Because I've no existing vans. I've technically only 2 vehicles, okay? I've my old vehicle, which was worth 60,000, and I've my new vehicle, which was worth 48,000. So I've no existing ones. Why? Because I sold this one and I bought this one. So there's no outstanding, and I bought this one. So there's no outstanding vehicles. So in the last question, I had existing. But in this case, there's no existing, so I don't need to calculate the rate of depreciation on it, okay? So all I'm doing is just getting 20% of it. 60,000 multiplied by 20% equals 48,000 multiplied by 20% equals. So 60,000 multiplied by 20% is 12,000 euros. 48,000 multiplied by 20% is 48, 9,600. Now, I only had this vehicle for 6 months and I only had this vehicle for 6 months. Why? Because it was purchased, the date of transaction was the 1st of the 7th. So divide that by 12 multiplied by 6. Divide that by 12 multiplied by 6. And I know I'm going into my little columns over here. I shouldn't be. Okay. And I get 4,800. Okay. Now, what else do I want to do? Okay. 4,800 and 60,000 then. So it's 6,000, right? So 12,000 divided by 12 multiplied by 6 is 6,000 euros, and 6,000 plus 4,800 is a total of 10,800 euros. Okay, now I know it's in this column here, right? So if I draw a little box here, it shouldn't be in there, right? Obviously, I just went over the lines. So this is my depreciation charge for this year, 10,800 euros. What's that? That is an expense. All right, so that's my expense for the year. In this instance, it's going to be 10,800 euros. Right, shouldn't be any problems with that because that's 6 months and 6 months. That's absolutely fine. Now what I want to do is calculate my accumulated depreciation. All right. My accumulated depreciation then is going to be as follows. So in this instance, it says here, all fixed assets have 3 years accumulated depreciation on the 1st of the 1st, 2011. Okay, so they all have 3 years accumulated depreciation on the 1st of the 1st, 2011. So that's the first thing that I want to do. So 60,000 multiplied by 20% is 12,000 euros. Multiply that by 3 and I get 36,000 euros. Okay, so that's my opening accumulated depreciation. Shouldn't be any problems with that. Where does it go? It goes to my minus from fixed assets in my statement of reserves. Okay, once I've that done, I can now calculate. I want to add up my totals. Okay, so right, my first accumulated depreciation was 36,000 euros. Depreciation charge for this year is 10,800. So I want to add this year 10,800. But I want to take away the total amount for that asset. Okay, so I sold this asset. It can no longer be so I want a sale of asset. 42,000 euros. Take it away. Throw all that into the calculator, and I should get 4,800 euros. Okay, just double check it. 36 plus 10,800 minus 42. Yeah, and I get 4,800 euros. That is my accumulated depreciation minus fixed assets up here, 4,800 euros. Okay, so now we have sorry, this figure just slots in over here, 36,000 euros. Okay, so that was my 3 years. So now we have my disposal, my loss and disposal, my depreciation charge for this year, my fixed asset cost, my opening accumulated depreciation, and my closing accumulated depreciation. All right, so that's the vehicles done. Right, after that, then we had equipment. All right, so if I could just continue, I know it's, geez, we're up on 9 minutes now. Okay, so equipment. Right, equipment shouldn't be too bad. All right, so equipment, again, if we have a look at it there, it says here 3 years accumulated depreciation in the first of the first. All right, so did we buy new equipment? Okay, we did, we bought new equipment. All right, so what I want to do is I want to get my depreciation charge for this year first. Right, so, first of the first, I had 75,000 euros. So I got that figure from the top of the page, 75,000 euros. I bought more equipment during the year for the rate of 20,000 euros. That gives me 95. I want to multiply that by the rate of 10%. And that gives me 9,500 euros. That's my depreciation charge for this year. I just want to make sure, are we correct? Should be 9,500 euros. Yeah, spot on, okay? So that's my depreciation charge for this year, 9,500 euros. Okay. Now I want to find my accumulated, okay? So that was this year, accumulated then. So as all 3 years accumulated depreciation. So on the first of the first, it was 75,000 euros. Multiplied by 10% is 7,500 euros. Multiply that by 3 and I get 7,500 multiplied by 3 and I get 22,500 euros. Okay, so that was first of the first. I want to add this year, okay, plus this year's charge, which is 9,500 euros. So my total accumulated depreciation for my equipment should be a total of 32 plus 9,500 equals 32,000 euros. Yeah, 32. And that's my minus from fixed asset, 32. Now, don't forget, if I just do my costing as well down here, okay? So, first of the first, it was 75, plus new, which is the new one I bought, and it was for 20,000, which means my cost is now going to be 95. Okay, so minus fixed asset. Sorry, can you see that? That is my fixed asset cost of 95,000 euros. Okay, spot on, excellent, well done. Now, the only things I haven't put in here is my opening accumulated depreciation. So just minus fixed asset. My previous 3 years, which you all know by now to be up here, 3 years accumulated depreciation. And that's for the total amount of 22,500 euros. 22,500. Right, that's literally your building equipment one done. Right, after that one then is going to be our revaluation and our building. So I'll do the loan as well, I'd say. Right, so I know I'm shoving on in the time now, but apologies for the delay. Okay, so we've got statement of reserves, income and expenditure, and balance sheet. Okay, right, so the next one, which is going to be working number 13. 12, 13. So working 13 is going to be buildings. Okay. So we should all know how to do the building ones by now. Okay, so standard enough. Right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this year's charge. Okay, so right, so I want to get my existing depreciation and my new depreciation. Okay, well, actually, yeah, extension. I actually don't need to do it this way, right? So I'll tell you why I do it this way, okay? But because in the last question we had buildings and extension purchased on the first of the fourth, right? So it doesn't really make a difference how you do it, as long as you know that you're just getting 2% of your total buildings, okay? So in the last question that we did, beside our no extension, it would have been a date, right? So there's no date in this one, so you could just get the 2% of the total amount. Okay, so my existing amount was 520 and my extension was 220. Okay, extension 220. So my total is going to be 740,000 euros. Multiplied by the rate of 2%, and I get 740. Sorry, now I'm using an old calculator. 740 multiply by 0.02 and I get 14,800 euros. Okay, so now I want to do my accumulated. So again, 3 years accumulated depreciation. So first to the first, 520 multiply by 2%, 520, and I get 10,400. Multiply that by 3 and I get 31,200 euros. Okay, so I want to add on this year's depreciation, which is just going to be taken from here, plus 14,800 euros. So my total of my accumulated depreciation is going to be 46,000 euros. Okay, now, nowhere near finished. Okay, so we have this year's charge, that's always going to be an expense. Alright, so my expense in this instance is going to be 14,800 euros. Okay, now my cost, you're happy enough with that, I can do the costing down here if you want. So it's first to the first, 520 plus 220,000, which is my new extension. So my total is going to be 740. That goes to the, that doesn't go anywhere now for the time being, okay? So that's my cost. So always make sure you do your cost. Now the next step after that, it's telling us here, right? 31st new Iridium had been revalued to 850,000 euros. Alright, 850,000 euros. Okay, right, so basically it was 740, right? We revalued it to 850, which means we had an increased revaluation for 110,000 euros. Is that okay? Now, we all know whenever we have a revaluation, what do we have to open? Okay, we have to open a revaluation reserve. Okay, where does it go? So this 110,000 euros is my opening balance in my revaluation reserve. Now, when we revalue an asset, it loses all accumulated depreciation. So what else goes into my revaluation reserve? Plus 46,000 euros for my total accumulated depreciation. So my total, my revaluation is 156. Where does that go? Minus FBY, because it's financed by section in the end, or not minus FBY, just FBY, 156. Okay, and then that's everything done there now. So we've got the depreciation charge for this year, we've got the finance by section for the revaluation reserve. Only thing we're missing here is our opening accumulated depreciation, which in this instance is going to be 31,200 euros. Okay, so minus fixed assets, 31,200 euros. So that's just my opening balance of 520 multiplied by 2% multiplied by 3 for the 3 years opening accumulated depreciation. So I just want to make sure I get that one correct. Okay, yeah, 31,200 euros, spot on. And then once we've that done then, okay, so we've all these workings done here, go through them, right? So we've nothing to do on laundry, telephone done, wage and salaries done, loan, okay, we don't have the loan done, equipment done, no extension done, vehicles done, cleaning done, heating done, insurance done, purchases shop done, purchases supplies done. I've all these workings posted anyway, lads, so just make sure you're correct. Okay, so the only thing we've left to do is the repayment on the loan. Okay, so I'll do the repayment on the loan with you as well, right? So loan, repayment. So it's telling us here that the repayment is going to be on the 1st of the 4th. So we'll have it paid off during the year, right? So we're given two figures here. We're given the loan of 30,000 and the interest of, and the loan and the interest is 36,000, right? So we need to get our two different figures here. So the loan plus the interest. So it's telling us that the loan is 30,000 euros. So we'll put that in first. Where does that go? Number one, it goes as a liability in the statement of company's reserves, 30,000 euros. Okay, that's the only place it goes. It's not going to go here in the balance sheet because we'll have it paid off on the 1st to the 4th. Now, the interest, which is the 6,000 euros. So, sorry, 6,000, and that's represented over the duration of 15 months. Okay. Now, 3 months of that is going to be for this year. This year, why? Because it's dated the 1st to the 4th, 2011. 3 months. So that's going to be my expense for this year. The remaining 12 months is going to be a liability because I owe it at the start of the year. Okay, so if you want to do it in your calculator, 6,000 divided by 15 multiplied by 3 for this year's depreciation expense. So 6,000 divided by 15 multiplied by 3, and we get a total of 1,200. Okay, so 1,200 euros, that's my expense for this year. Okay, 1,200 euros. The remaining, okay, so if you want to do it, 6,000 divided by 15 multiplied by 12 should give me 4,800. That's my loan at the start of the year. Okay, my loan interest due at the start of the year. Again, it's going to be a liability, 4,800 euros. And that's it, job done. Bob's your uncle, Mary's your auntie, Bill's your teacher. However you want to do it, that's everything, alright? Thanks, lads.